Welcome back. We're going to be finishing up the second part of our first AutoCAD activity, which is the Intro to Basic Commands. In the previous section, we did the line command, the polyline command. We created objects with a line. We created the fillet command. We did some offsetting. We did the mirror command, and then we created some circles. Left up today, we have the stretch, creating lines with length, copy, move, trim, and then extend. So let's look here first at the stretch command. There isn't a shortcut key for that one, so you'll have to type out stretch as a whole, so STRETCH, and then press enter. You'll see in your command bar it's asking for you to select your objects. So you can just select this line here because we want to stretch this object 6 inches up. And then we'll press enter or right click, and then it asks for a base point. So you can choose here or here, and then a direction. So I'm dragging it up just so it knows which direction to go in. And then I'm going to give it a distance, which is 6 inches, and then press enter like that. You'll see that it doesn't close the corners there, so you could create just a fillet. So using the F command and then creating that fillet there to close it off and make it one whole object. So we'll do the stretch command again, STRETCH, press enter. We want this one to go 1 foot to the right, so we're clicking on this right edge here, and then press enter. We want this base point, but you also could use that. So a base point and then in this direction, and we want it to go 1 foot, enter, like that. Again, you'll see that it doesn't bring these lines with it. I'm going to undo and show you a different option. So stretch again, pressing enter. You can select all 3 of these lines. Right click, select your base point, and then bring it this direction, but you'll see it still isn't connecting it to the original point. So our displacement is 1 foot, and you'll end up having to do that fillet again or using the extend command, which I'll show you here in just a few. So we can do a fillet, connect these 2, right click to repeat, and then connect these 2. All right, so we're going to stretch this one 6 inches to the left this time. So stretch, enter, this edge, enter, select your base point. We're going in this direction, and we are going 6 inches, enter. Just for simplicity, I'm going to repeat this process again, and I'll come back and fill these in a second. We want to stretch this one 2 feet to the right, so selecting this edge, enter, a base point, we're going to the right 2 feet, enter, and then this last one, we want to go 1 foot down, so repeating that command, select the line, enter, a base point, bring it down 1 foot, enter, like that. And then I'll come back in and do a fillet to connect these objects. Because we wanted to stretch them, we didn't want to just move the line over. And there we go. Our stretch command line is finished. Next, we're going to create some lines with length. So you're going to type the L command and then enter. We're going to draw a line. So we're going to left click here and then drag it in the direction that you want your line to go in. And then you'll give it a distance. So 3 feet, enter, and you'll see that it drew it 3 feet. Also notice when this line is white here or gray and I try to click on it or do anything with it, there's a lock there, which means that it's on a layer or a color that's been locked. So if you look up here under layers, we can change that option to one of these that's unlocked. So we could use like green, like we were using up here. I know I didn't tell you that before. Notice most of the things were green, but for right now, it doesn't really matter because we're just practicing our commands. So coming back here, we want a line that's 4 feet. So L, enter, left click on our starting point, drag it in the direction you want it to go in, and then 4 feet, enter. Right clicking to escape that command, and then right clicking to repeat it. Same thing, but this time we're going to break it up into feet and inches. So this is 2.5 feet or 2 feet 6 inches. Left click here, drag it the direction we want it to go in. You don't have to keep it straight, but we want it to be 2 foot 6 inches. Pay attention to the formatting here in my command line, and then press enter, right click to escape, right click to repeat. We'll do this again. Left click on the point, drag it in the direction you want it to go in, and then type your distance, 3 foot 9 inches. Pressing enter, right click to escape, right click to repeat, press my starting point, and then we want this one 26 inches, enter, right click to escape. Now you've completed your line with length command. Remaining, we have copy, move, trim, and extend. So now we want to copy. Our command for copy is CO. Just the C will create circles. We want to copy things. So CO, enter. You want to select by left clicking on the objects that you want, right clicking to enter, choosing a base point. We want to choose the center point for your circles. And then we'll choose our second point, and you can copy them multiple times and then right click to escape. Here, we're going to give it some direction. So we're going to right click to repeat that command, or you can type CO for copy. We want to select 2 objects and then right click. And then we want to choose a base point like this. And then we want it to go to the right, but we want to give it a distance. So we're going to press 2 feet, enter, and then right click to escape. You'll see that when I copied both of these 2 feet to the right, there's 2 on top of each other. So just be aware of that. When we do this one, it should look a little bit different. So we're going to CO, enter, select both of these circles here, enter, select a base point, and then go in this direction, and we want it to be 9 foot instead of 2. And then right click enter, and you'll see it popped it over here. So you've got 2 circles this time instead of what appears to be 1, but it's really one on top of another. And then for this one, we're going to copy here to here. So we're going to do CO, enter, or just right click to repeat that command. We want to choose the circle, enter, select our base point or our center point, and then choose the end point of the line to copy it to, and then right click to escape again. Okay, that was pretty simple. Our move command is very similar. Instead of CO, we're doing MO. Nope, that's not it. My bad. Sometimes I forget my commands. Our command for move is just M. And then just like before, we'll select the object we want to copy, press enter. We'll choose a base point, which is the center, and we want it to go to this point here. And then we're done. So moving here, we're going to do the same thing. Right click to repeat it, select the circle, right click to press enter, select the center point, and then we're going in this direction, 2 feet, enter. Very similar here to that copy to the endpoint option we did before. We're going to right click to repeat that move command, left click on our circle to select it, right click to enter, left click on the center to select our base point, and then left click on the end of the line to move it to the end point of that line. Panning over by pressing my scroll on my mouse, we want to move both of these circles 9 foot 4 inches to the right. So I'm going to repeat that command by right clicking, selecting both circles with my left click and then pressing enter, choosing one of the center points as our base point by left clicking on it and then moving it to the right, but without clicking anything. We're going to type 9 feet 4 inches, enter, and you'll see it pops it over here to these center points that were already there for you. So that takes care of move. Again, feel free to pause the video or rewind as necessary. I'm just going to show you a couple different options for trimming. There's not really a goal to accomplish here. Just want to show you different things you can do whenever you're trimming. So our command for trim is TR enter. You'll see in the command bar it wants you to select objects. So you want to select the line that's going to be used to trim the things. So I'm just going to select this line, for example, and then press enter or right click. And then you'll see whenever I click on this blue line, there's a little red X, which means it'll trim it off. You can trim everything on this side of the line if you prefer. You also could do TR enter, select the orange line, press enter, and then select all of these lines by doing a cross section with the green, like that. So that's an option as well. Looking again, TR enter, you could select this green line and then enter and trim off the red and the yellow. If you want to create like a box, selecting the red and then trimming off the blue and the green, enter, selecting the blue and trimming off the red and the yellow is an option too. And then you can trim these off. So right click to repeat, left click on the yellow, right click to press enter, and then left click on the blue and left click on the green. But you also could delete that as well, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. Then we've got TR enter, and then instead of selecting a line as your boundary, we're going to press enter again. And this will allow you to pick and choose what you want to trim. Anywhere there's like a line to cut it off, it will cut what's hanging off of that line or what's in between. Notice this one's not, there's nothing on the other side of the line, so it won't trim it off. Same thing here and same thing here after I trim this blue in the middle, but it will cut off this part of the yellow because it's hanging, there's yellow on both sides of the blue. So whatever you're trimming has to be on both sides. You can see it'll trim some things, but it won't trim others. So it just kind of depends on the situation. We can trim that off if we want to. And then right click to escape it. You can right click to repeat that and right click again for this type of command where you don't have to really create a boundary. You can just go through and pick and choose what you want to trim off. Like if I really wanted to, I could do something like that as well. And then TR enter for the last one. Again, you can pick different options. You could do something like that, just depending on the circumstances and what goal you're trying to accomplish. Then last but certainly not least is our extend. Your extend command will just extend a line to a boundary. So think about how the trim command worked. You selected a boundary and then you trimmed lines on the outside of that boundary. The extend works pretty similar. You select a boundary and you extend lines to that boundary instead of cutting them off. So our command for extend is EX. Don't get that mistaken with EXT. That means extrude, which is a 3D command. So please make sure you pay attention to what you're typing. So our command for extend is just EX and then press enter and you'll select the line you want to extend it to and then press enter and then select the line that you want to actually extend or make longer, like that. So depending on what you're trying to do, I'll show you again here. EX enter, select the line that you want to be your boundary by left clicking, and then press enter, and then you'll select the line you want to extend to that boundary by left clicking it like that. So you can see here, this worked very similar to the fillet. The only real difference here between this and the fillet is the fillet's creating that corner for you, and you could round it if you wanted to, whereas an extend is just going to give you that sharp edge. And then here's another option as well, just like how the trim had the TR enter option where you kind of have a more freedom of what you want to draw to. This one will do a similar effect. So EX enter, and so instead of selecting a boundary, we're pressing enter again, and you see you can go in increments. So we could go this way with it, we can go this way, and we can keep going as far as you want to. By all means, you could extend it all the way across the page if you wanted to, but you have a little bit more flexibility there with which direction you want to go. So that will complete the entire document. So you'll save your copy and then you'll submit it on the assignment following the instructions, and then I will see you back here for our next AutoCAD activity.